Hi, I'm Tom Fleming, and today I'm going to give you a free art lesson on how to use stencils in a layering technique with acrylics and watercolor. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down a base tone of a stripe of light blue and a stripe of yellow ochre, and I'm going to use the acrylic through an airbrush and just lay down a nice light layer. Okay. And what that's going to do is you don't want to get too dark, because the darker you get with the acrylic through the airbrush, the more the plasticky coating of the acrylic will seal the watercolor paper underneath. And I still want to leave it a little bit porous so that we can go in with watercolor and it'll still take to the paper. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is add a little bit of yellow ochre and do the same thing. Okay, so now we have nice light tones, and I actually let it overlay in the middle there a little bit, just so it kind of has a little bit of a graduated tone to it. And I'm going to wash out my airbrush well, because that stuff will dry. Okay, now I'm going to take, this is just a very common kind of doily lace type of material, and I'm going to lay it right over the top of that. And I'm not worried about it sticking down to the surface of the paper, because I actually want there to be different variations of tones underneath. Some sharp, and some will, as the paint goes underneath the lace, it'll create a softer tone. Then I'm going to go in with a darker color, which is going to be like a deep violet. And I'm just going to lightly spray over the top of this doily. And I want to use an angle that's going to shoot straight down, because if I go too much of an angle, on a less of an angle this way, the doily is going to shoot off the paper. So I want the air pressure from the airbrush to hold the doily in place. And I'm just going to lightly Okay, then when you lift up, what you have is all these neat kind of patterns, and I use this one. I really like this because it has a plant-like, it looks like leaves and flowers and things like that. I'm going to wash out the airbrush, but you can see as I let the airbrush flow outward, I got lighter, I got darker on the inside for sharper shapes, and as we go out, we let them fade out, and you get all these neat little abstract shapes in there. Okay. Now the next step, and there's sometimes you don't even want to go into this step. Sometimes you can just leave it as is if that's the effect that you want. But then I like to go in and I'll use a watercolor or a combination of an opaque white watercolor, which is Dr. Martin's Bleed Proof White. And I'll go in and I'll start pulling out some of these shapes to exaggerate them a little bit and create even more of a pattern. And you see how, as I'm going through here, I'm using it pretty watery, so it's actually lightening the areas, and it's not getting too heavy, but at the same time, it's bringing out these shapes. And I'm just going in the middle and bringing them out. And what you're getting is a nice layered technique. And you can just blend those edges and create as sharp a shapes as you'd like, or just let them fade off into the background. And that's just a matter of how much water that you use. The brush I'm using right now is a number 6 round sable. And then in the middle, we're just for the sake of sharpness, we're gonna do a nice crisp white dot, which would be kind of like your focal point, and then everything would go out from there. But basically, that's, it's a very basic technique, and you can take it as, you can even go in and work in colored pencils if you'd like, and really shadow and darken areas. You can even go in with a regular mechanical pencil, and you can darken the under areas that would create like a shadow and make it even more three-dimensional. It's just one of those techniques where it's unlimited possibilities, because you're really leaving that paper porous, which lends itself to many layers without getting too thick with that acrylic. And you got a nice blend of textures and colors, and I hope that was informative. I hope that helped. Take out your supplies, give it a try, and be sure to catch some of my paintings. And one of the paintings that I actually use this exact technique on is called Venus. It's Venus and the Contemplation of Beauty, which you can find on www.flemingeditions.com. Check out my art book, Draw and Paint Fantasy Females, and go get your supplies and get out there and start painting. Thanks.